Let's settle in and talk about active brain retraining and what that is and how I use that to heal from neurological Lyme disease and extreme symptoms that I had for many years, and how you can apply that to your life and have your brain retraining be way more effective than it might be panning out to be so far. So, what is active brain retraining? Active brain retraining is when we are actively putting the practices into our day to day. Just real quickly, let me just talk about brain retraining in itself. Brain retraining is the process of training the limbic system, training the nervous system, which is then starting to shift the endocrine system and allowing for a new way for our body to entirely exist. It's a process of more than just mindset and affirmations. It's a process of really catching everything that is coming up in our mind throughout the day. This is where the shifts happen, is when we are really paying attention to what are the things that are holding us back, what are the belief systems that are holding us back, and what are our everyday habits that are also holding us back. In brain retraining, there are affirmations that are said, there are the mindset techniques, many of them that are used. And there are also the shifting from using your right side of your body to your left side of your body, or whatever your non-dominant side is, and many other physical practices that go into this as well. I personally used Wim Hof breathing, or an alkalosis style breathing, along with many other breathwork types as well, in order to help me pattern interrupt and bring things into the actual reality that I've created for myself now, which is living in a very different body and being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, eat whatever I want, whenever I want. Those were my affirmations, and they have absolutely come true. So how can this apply to you and maybe where you're getting stuck in your brain retraining processes? A lot of people are doing whatever the program is that they're doing the rounds for it. They're sitting down, they're doing their futurizations, they're doing their practices through the hour or half an hour that they're sitting with every day, and really diligently going through that, and then saying, but I've been doing this for like a year, I've been doing this for 3 years, or I've been doing this for 5 years, and I'm not really seeing that much improvement, or I've seen versions of improvement, but then it kind of goes back, or feels like it does anyway. Now, where people can be getting stuck on this is that the rounds are super important, or any type of where you're actually getting into the practices of brain retraining, and especially in the beginning, just understanding that and just starting to get down the rhythm of what that is like to be in the brain retraining process, and really understanding how that is kind of making sense to you and how you can apply it during that round process. Beyond that, there is what I call active brain retraining. Now, this is outside of the time that we are doing rounds every day. And this is when we are just living normal life and we are catching ourselves in the moment and saying, I recognize that, and that is an old pattern of behavior that I don't want to continue going forward with anymore. I want to stop this here and this moment. And it's this moment, the now, that we have the power in. So we are futurizing and we are seeing like what we can create. That is giving us like our goal. That is giving our direction to head towards. However, in this moment now, what are we doing to change this? If we do our rounds and then continue it the rest of the day, and we're not catching our thoughts that are not benefiting us, we're not catching the things that we're doing, the interactions that we're having with other people that aren't benefiting us or the other people, we're not noticing where our mind is going when we feel a certain physical thing coming up in the body, and then we are like not shifting the way that our mind is processing that at the moment. So this would look like, for me, when I was going through my process and I was having a lot of symptoms and things going on just constantly. Initially, I was talking about my symptoms all the time. I was thinking about them all the time. I was very much experiencing 24/7 pain and lots of things that were inhibiting the freedom of movement and living life that I wanted to be able to have, the life that I have now, and what I did bring into total fruition and manifestation, which you can too. So when I was noticing that, oh my gosh, let me bend over and unload the dishwasher, that was like a scary thing for me, because bending and twisting and then lifting things up would create my low back would pop out of place, and then I would go to the chiropractor. So it was like a very real thing that I was experiencing, that then I would have go to the chiropractor to remedy that. So what I was doing is I was imagining when I would have that fear coming up when I was unloading the dishwasher, I would imagine my back being a super strong I-beam. It was like all of the vertebrae were stacked so perfectly, and they were just like so strong. All the muscles around the vertebrae were so strong, and they were all just coming together perfectly. And when I would bend, they would all do exactly what they were designed to do. They would all pull me back up and allow me to have a really strong back. So my first inclination was to go to fear. Oh my gosh, my back is gonna pop out of place. What am I gonna do if it goes out of place? All of the fear, doubts, and darkness that would come up in my mind around that action. And then when I started catching that and immediately noticing, like, okay, I'm going to go unload the dishwasher, the secondary thought to that was immediately all of those things, the dark, the doubts, and the fears. I would stop it right there. And I would say, okay, nope, I'm not going to think that anymore. This is what I'm thinking. I'm imagining my strong back. My super strong back is the strong I-beam, and all of the muscles are super strong around it, and it knows exactly how to hold me up. So that was like a moment where I was able to catch in the moment and actively train in the moment throughout the day when that would come up. This would also come up when I had POTS. So this was where my blood pressure would drop when I would stand up. I would start to swell if I was in a temperature above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And so, okay, I'm about to stand up. There's the fear, the darks, and the doubts that are coming up, that I could pass out, that I am going to get lightheaded and lose my vision, that I'm not going to feel good. So what I would do is before I would stand up, I would think to myself, okay, my body is learning exactly how to calibrate itself. My circulatory system and my heart are getting stronger. They know exactly how to expand and contract perfectly to know how to get me up and down from this chair. Right then and there, that changes the endocrine system from going from the fear and the cortisol levels that are then pumping out around the fear, and it would alkalize the system, and it would allow me to calm my system down in that moment, just by those thoughts. This is where, when we think of something that is really scary, even though it's a past thing or something that's not even close to us right now, we can have the experience of us actually being in that at the moment by just a thought. We can also be thinking about the person that we love. We can also be thinking about the animal that we love, or whatever it is, and to feel that endocrine system creating the hormone releases in that moment that give us the oxytocin, that give us the dopamine and the serotonin, give us all the feel-good things that are happening there, instead of having fear coming through. So I was switching from the dark, the doubts, and the fears over to something that felt strong and reliable in my body healing. And again, I was coming from a place where I was very much experiencing these symptoms 24/7. I was very much in it. And this is how I started to shift that, because then the endocrine system starts to shift. And then, as you know, when I first started this, of course, I was still feeling all of the things coming up. I was still having the POTS experiences. I was still having, weak back. It was taking time for those things to start to come together. Though, little by little, as my system started to recognize that I was shifting, that I was calming my system down, that I was boosting myself up, and I was allowing my cells to start to repair. I was allowing my gene expressions to start to shift, because my body did not have the POTS experiences before I had that happen. My body was not having the low back popping out of place before that happened. I went, for the first 20 years of my life, I wasn't having those things happen. So I knew that my body was able to switch it back to the other. So in all of these moments, and this was a constant thing, because having hundreds, if not thousands of symptoms, I was just, then this thing, and then this thing, and now this, and now what am I going to eat, and all the different things that were coming up. It was a constant thing to catch this, and this was the active brain retraining. Beyond doing my rounds in the morning, I was also doing all of these things throughout the day and catching all of this and allowing myself to notice, like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I'm going into this mindset here, I'm going into this mindset here. And little by little shifting those things and starting to recognize when they were coming up was what made the change over happen. That it was the consistency of doing this day to day to day to day. It's just like with anything that we're building, anything that we're creating in life, whether that's working out at the gym and somebody wants to build muscle, whether that's somebody building a company and starting to put things together. It's like piece by piece by piece, writing a book. All of these things take time. It takes time to understand, first of all, what we're doing and what our goal is. Secondly, how we want to do that. Thirdly, the steps that we need. Fourthly, how are we going to implement these things on a day-to-day basis to actually get us sustainably to where we want to go? So active brain retraining is crucial to this. And I talk to so many people who have done their rounds, for the day, which is great. That's awesome. Congratulations. That is a huge feat to undertake. And if you're not experiencing the relief that you want and the manifestation of your affirmations yet, ask yourself, am I doing the active brain retraining? Am I actually doing all the things throughout the day to help me shift all of this? And this also includes our conversations with others and what we are spelling out of our mouth. Like, what are we saying to other people around this as well? Let me know if you have been doing active brain retraining. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Really, this is powerful information that helped me so much, and it'd be so wonderful to get this out to more people to understand, like, where we might be having these little hang-ups that are coming through with all of this. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.